Get your special sock out, nerds. It's gonna get good. Shut the fuck up. Oh my.
So as per usual, I'm showing up fashionably late to a subject. But a little known billion-dollar movie by the name of Deadpool and Wolverine released some time ago. And this shit was the shot that many people needed to even look at the MCU again. It's no secret that the MCU has been on a decline for years, increasing the quantity and decreasing the quality. Sure, you get a few that break the mold here and there, but they've been putting out a lot more misses than hits. So when Disney finally purchased Fox and got the rights to X-Men and Fantastic Four, some people were a bit skeptical on how they were going to handle these characters and properties. And honestly, it still has yet to be determined. But considering the appearances they did make with these characters, it had some people nervous. But one in particular people were curious about was Deadpool. Deadpool didn't quite fit the squeaky clean MCU image. I mean, the first two movies were raunchy, violent, and very crude. And people were wondering how are they going to fit Deadpool with all his swearing, blood, and gore, and fourth wall breaks into the MCU. How are they going to change him? And the simple answer is, they didn't. But let's back up a little bit. You see, there were rumors for a while about Deadpool 3. What it was going to be, or what was even going to happen in general. Would they nerf Deadpool? What would the plot be? Would Wolverine be in it? I mean, Hugh Jackman retired the character with Logan back in 2017. So there were just years of uncertainty, until this moment.
Hey Hugh, you want to play Wolverine one more time?
Yeah, sure, Ryan.
Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman got on camera and announced Deadpool 3 was happening, and the hype quickly grew. Some had their doubts, with it still being connected to Disney and all, but all that was put to rest with the release of the Red Band teaser trailer.
Pegging isn't new for me, friendo, but it is for Disney.
Oh yeah, we're so back. They let them just go wild and didn't hold back. In fact, after the movie released, Reynolds was asked in an interview if they had to remove anything or if there was any limitations or restrictions placed upon them, and he basically said no. In fact, he was surprised because there was some stuff in there he thought they would ask to remove, but they didn't. And I'm not gonna lie, after seeing the trailers, this was probably the most hyped myself and many others have been for a comic book project in years, let alone an MCU one. So my interest was definitely there personally, and that's saying something considering how dissatisfied I've been with comic book related media recently. And when it released, I gotta say, it delivered. I found the movie to be a blast, and so did many others, pulling in over $1 billion at the box office, along with some very positive reception. Deadpool was on top of the world, and this shit was in theaters for months, and everywhere online. It was a hot topic for many moons after its release, and that's saying something in this day and age, where content is consumed and forgotten about after a weekend. So, the movie's good. I know that, you know that, so what could I possibly add to the conversation? Well, to be honest, not much. So, what even is this video? Basically, it's gonna be one part review, kinda, and then one part talking about the whole multiverse craze has been happening the last couple years. So I'll briefly talk about the movie and the stuff that I liked and didn't like, and then I'll talk about the multiverse stuff. But from the title of the video, I think you already know where I stand. Now let's get this show on the road.
You know what he just said to me? He said he's gonna stretch my ass.
Do I really need to tell you what this movie is about? I mean, pretty sure everyone's seen this movie, or at least has an idea what it's about. Fuck, let's talk about it anyway. So, Deadpool settles down for a normal, mundane life before being offered a chance to become the hero that he wants to be. But he finds out that his universe is about to be destroyed by this evil British guy who works for that organization in that Loki show that I didn't watch. And long story short, he and Wolverine are sent to the Void where they need to escape so they can stop this evil guy from destroying Wade's universe. And also, Cassandra Xavier is there too. I mean, like I said earlier, this movie was a blast from start to finish. The action is violent, bloody, creative, and just so much fun. This is definitely some of the best MCU action we've gotten in a long time. Seriously, every single action sequence was just a thrill to watch. The whole movie in general is just non-stop. It's just 2 straight hours of blood, violence, jokes, and cameos. It really is a fast-paced movie that doesn't waste any time. And I'm actually surprised they managed to fit as much stuff in here as they did. Because on paper, this easily could have gone off the rails and been an absolute mess. You got Wade's story of him wanting to be a hero and maintain some sort of relationship with his ex. You have Wolverine trying to cope and overcome his failure to save anyone in his universe. And in between that, you have 2 different villains with dozens of jokes, cameos, action sequences, and multiverse shenanigans. So all things considered, I think they did a decent job at managing all these different things. And yeah, there are a lot of cameos here, but I don't feel like they steal the spotlight. The focus is always placed on Deadpool and Wolverine and their journey. Are there a lot? Oh yeah, definitely. Does it ever get distracting? I don't think so, because at the center of all of it, Deadpool and Wolverine's journey remains very clear. Their goal is never drowned out in a sea of cameos and callbacks. Honestly, the only complaints I really have is the fact that I think Cassandra Xavier and this British guy are pretty weak antagonists. They're not really memorable at all, to be honest. They're mostly just there to serve as challenges for Deadpool and Wolverine to overcome. But hell, the movie is called Deadpool and Wolverine, and 90% of the focus is on them. And they're the reason you're even watching the movie. So it's not really a major issue, because even though it lacks in the villain department, it makes up for it everywhere else. The only other complaint is that I wish they had a few more serious moments. But I guess the fact that there are so few makes the ones that we do get stand out. I was actually surprised at these moments, and it just left me wanting more. When the jokes are pulled back and it's about the characters, it really just pulls me in, and I appreciate it a lot. There's only a handful of release scenes in the whole movie, and they're done very well. I just wish we had just a few more, but as it stands, these moments are still really great. Oh, I guess I should mention that if you're not a fan of the first two movies' raunchy humor and fourth wall breaks, then you're probably not gonna like them here. I mean, it's really just more of the same, which is either a plus or a negative depending on who you are. Me personally, I thought they were pretty funny, but I also like the first two movies, so I guess it's not a surprise. Sure, not every joke lands, but I found the humor to be pretty solid and on brand for what we've seen so far in these movies. And last thing I want to mention, it isn't really about Deadpool 3, but just these Deadpool movies in general, is that Ryan Reynolds loves Deadpool, and that's very clear. He fought for years to get the first movie made, and when he did, it was great, and since then, these films have basically been his babies. Although there's just one aspect I wish that these movies would touch on a bit more, and I guess this ties into the more serious character-driven moments that I mentioned earlier, and it's that I really wish these movies explored the more tragic side of Deadpool as a character just a bit more. Yeah, it touches on it a few times here and there, but it's very clear that the comedy and the jokes come first, and it just makes me wish that they would just dive just a bit deeper, because moments we do get when things are more serious and more intense are generally really good in all three of these movies, and we just see glimpses of them in every single one. But I guess this is honestly just a more small trivial thing, because the movies how they are right now are pretty damn good, and let's be honest, most people don't really care. I mean, I think I only know like one other person in real life who actually ever mentioned this, so I guess I'm just kind of going on a tangent if anything.
You should fucking kill yourself.
Anyway, bringing the focus back to Deadpool and Wolverine, what else can I say really? This shit was pretty awesome. And honestly, I don't want to go frame by frame talking about all my favorite moments or pick apart and point out every Easter egg. Channels like that and videos like that already exist. Now, where would I rank it in comparison to the first two Deadpool movies? I'm honestly not sure. I think it's probably the most entertaining out of all three of them, but maybe the second one has the best story, or at least it easily has the best antagonist. But Deadpool and Wolverine has the best moments, or at least the most memorable moments, I think. Honestly, you can't go wrong with however you rank these three movies, because they're all really good. Hell, I would say they're great. So I'll end it by saying this. Yeah, this shit is good. Oh yeah, and those end credit scenes, beautiful. Nothing more I can add.
Logan died in Logan. Not touching that.
So that was a fucking lie.
Alright, so how to start this section? Fuck the multiverse. Okay, that's a bit strong. Let's just backtrack a bit. So several years ago, right around the time Endgame came out, people wondered what's the next step? Where are they gonna go next? And it was quickly revealed that the multiverse would be the next step. Of course, the MCU wasn't the first to do this. The Spider-Verse movie already released at this point, and was awesome. And of course, those DC, CW shows were messing around with alternate universes and stuff for years. But with something as big and established as the MCU doing it, it had a lot more people interested. Fast forward to now, and man, I gotta say, I'm just tired of it. The concept has been ran into the ground at this point, and honestly hasn't produced anything that great, outside of a few exceptions here and there. I mean, it was cool seeing it the first time, but after so many attempts and entries, I'm just personally tired of it. Hell, by the time Across the Spider-Verse released, I was just so burnt out on the concept that I couldn't really enjoy it. And not to mention there was the Flash movie, just so many shows and movies doing it that it felt less special, and let's be honest, the novelty quickly died. I just have no interest in this stuff, and I just don't really care anymore. Now, how does this relate to Deadpool and Wolverine? Well, in this movie, they make several jokes poking fun at the steady decline of projects since Endgame, the multiverse stuff in particular. And to me, this whole movie feels like a good final cap at the end of the whole multiverse saga, or whatever you want to call it, because you get a shit ton of cameos and callbacks, and on top of that, Deadpool points out and makes jokes about how bad it's just been for the last 5 years or so. So to me, it would be very fitting that this would be like one of the last multiverse MCU projects. I mean, hell, within the movie, they point out the fact that it just hasn't been working.
No. With the whole multiverse thing, it's not great. It's just been miss after miss after miss.
So just in my eyes, this would be like a good bookend, you know what I mean? Yeah, it sounds nice, but I know this probably won't be the last multiverse-related project. The MCU would definitely do several more movies and shows involving the multiverse to a degree. Will they ever move completely away from it? Eventually, yeah. I mean, I personally think now would be the perfect time to do it, because one, they no longer have Kang involved in the MCU, and two, Deadpool and Wolverine made fun of the quality of their projects since Endgame.
Welcome to the MCU, by the way. You're joining at a bit of a low point.
So you think this would be like an awakening moment for Disney and the MCU? That they would show some self-awareness, but I really doubt that will be the case. I guess only time will tell. I don't know, leave a comment and let me know what you think the next step for Marvel should be. Are we done with this multiverse stuff? Can we go back to solo projects? Can we cut down on the fucking shows? Leave a comment and let me know. But as for me, I'm tired of it and I'm ready to move on.
Let's just take the L and move on.
Well, I guess that'll about cover it. So to wrap this whole video up, I'm gonna leave you with 2 points. Number 1, Deadpool and Wolverine is fucking awesome. You should definitely check it out. And number 2, fuck the multiverse. Yeah, that's about it. See ya.
Hey, I want to play something gay, you bum.